Now, educating and empowering you on how to stop the big banks and collection companies from stealing your money. You're listening to Your Credit Matters, heard daily on KPRZ at 6:30 p.m. and online at kprz.com. Your host, international best-selling author and local credit expert, Rhonda Lambeth, along with partner, certified credit pro, Michelle Olson.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Your Credit Matters, the most important 30 minutes of your day. Michelle and I are so thankful to spend this time with you, and we love helping you and families like yours have a better life through financial literacy and credit education. You know, every day we expose what the big banks, the collection companies, and the credit bureaus, what we think they don't want you to know, and how they purposely drive down your credit score so they can charge you higher interest rates, more fees, and keep you in chains, and make sure that you are their slave your entire life. If you have any questions regarding credit, real estate, or finances, or how to get out of debt in the next 100 days, please call our offline number. It's 619-333-0111. Again, that's the offline number. We don't want you to tell us your financial problems in front of 500,000 people. We want you to talk with us on our private offline number. Again, that number is 619-333-0111. Or you can simply go to the website, askrondi.com. Again, that's askrondi.com, askrondi.com. When we talk, not only are we going to be able to help you and your family escape the chains of bad credit, but we're also going to give you a free financial roadmap to get you out of debt, sometimes in as little as 100 days.
Also, if you'd like a free copy of our new book on credit and how you can obtain a 740 credit score in the next 74 days, simply text KPRZ to the number 411-247. That's 411-247. Text KPRZ and be sure to include your name and email address, and we'll send you a copy of the book for free.
In studio today, I have with me Sean Doan with Doan Law Firm. Sean, thanks for coming in today.
Hi, Rhonda. Thank you for having me.
And we have Michelle Olson, my partner in crime. Michelle, thanks for coming in today.
You bet.
Michelle had pretty much the whole week off last week, didn't you?
Yeah, thanks. That was nice.
And then now you are back to the grindstone working away.
I'm back. I'm all dressed up. I got my hot shoes on, and we're raring to go.
She actually did not really have the week off. She was so busy with work that she just couldn't make it into the radio station. So, you know, Sean, we've been talking about a couple things over the last few days that we're going to talk about with you and what your opinion is on some of these issues. But first, let's talk about you and how long you've been an attorney?
I've been practicing for about 12 years now.
12 years?
San Diego.
In San Diego?
In San Diego. Uh-huh.
And tell me about your firm that you're with, because you guys have a little unique thing that's different from your firm and all the other mills and everybody else going around.
It is unique. We are actually, we hold ourselves out as California's largest family of attorneys. There's 5 brothers and my dad, all bankruptcy attorneys. And between the 5 of us, 6 of us, we have about 15 offices in Southern California. And we're offering a little bit more than what your standard bankruptcy practitioner is doing for you. We're not just churning out cases. We take a holistic approach with the debtors, people seeking relief, where we're with them at the beginning of the matter, dealing with their creditors, and then afterwards too. We sue the creditors if they don't abide by our representation at the beginning of the case, and then we'll sue them again at the end of the case when they don't update credit reports, for instance, or they continue to send billing statements or phone calls, any of that. You know, we will go after them. And I think you'd be lucky to find 1 or 2 other attorneys in Southern California that will pursue those claims as aggressively as we do.
You know, and that's why you're in here right now, and that's why you're going to be on the show in the future. And that's how I actually found you. I found you through Max Gardner, you know, Max Gardner's boot camp.
Yeah, Max is the godfather. We all went to his boot camp over in North Carolina right after the laws changed and things kind of slowed down. We needed to figure out what we're going to focus on, you know, while the cases were not coming in. And we found that there's this whole other practice that you can basically build up and have its own, generation of revenue forever because the creditors, there's just no way they'll ever upgrade their systems to comply with the laws, especially California law.
You know, and that's what Michelle and I do. Michelle's a paralegal. I'm a credit professional. I'm a court-approved credit expert witness, and we're involved with those cases that you're talking about. And I don't know how many attorneys in San Diego that send us clients, and we're talking to the client, and they say, Rondi, how do I make these phone calls stop? And I said, what phone calls? They said, well, we filed bankruptcy 3 months ago, and the debt collectors are still calling me.
Right.
And it's like, what is your attorney thinking? What does your attorney say about it? And they say, well, he said to call you. It's like,
right.
They're missing.
They don't return the call or
they don't
ever hear from their attorney again.
You know what impressed me when we went and met with Sean was the fact that he understands the credit aspect of it and what happens to you after the bankruptcy's filed and where it goes from there. That he really understands that part of it.
You know, Michelle and I went and spoke with an attorney that's on this radio station. He's on a couple others, and we're not going to say his name, but he flat out told us, hey, you know what? I don't like returning phone calls. And that's why, I'm doing some ads. And yes, I'm on, the KPRZ a couple times a week. But quite honestly, Rondi, I really don't want any more business because I hate returning clients' phone calls. And I don't like doing bankruptcies because I don't want to call them back.
That was probably the weirdest meeting we've ever been to.
Wasn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody that doesn't want business.
I don't see how you could be a successful practitioner if you don't want to talk to clients. I mean, that's what it's all about, is helping people and understanding them and using that to your advantage and helping other people.
That's why you have 15 offices throughout California.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's successful. I'm just saying he's on the radio station and he runs a lot of ads on this radio program, not this program, but on this radio station all the time. And we asked him, I said, why are you running bankruptcy commercials? And he said, well, it's for a different reason. I'm actually trying to just get them into the office to get them to do something else other than bankruptcy.
So he's fishing through bankruptcy.
He's fishing through bankruptcy and through short sales and through some loan mods and other things. And he gets them into this other program with the intention that he never has to call them back. He just lines up the lawsuits, and then a year later, after so many things happen, then he can sue the creditors for it.
Okay. So it sounds like he's got a little cottage industry going on there where, he basically throws the patty on the grill and it gets cooked and prepped and.
Yeah, but the nice thing with your firm is you take that holistic approach to it, that you bring them in, they find out what their options are, they file their bankruptcy, they're out of debt. Sometimes if they do a Chapter 7, 100 days later, they have no debt, usually. And if they can't do a 7, they can do a 13 or whatever their options are. But you don't just throw them into bankruptcy. We were talking about a listener that called in yesterday, and bankruptcy is not going to work for him. But if he'd have gone in fact, he went to another attorney and he called in to the show on an unrelated issue. And this other attorney was pushing him into 7. And after you guys found out really what was behind the scenes, probably 7's not going to work for him because he's going to lose, you said, $100,000 of asset that he has.
Right, Ronnie. That potential client there, he had some assets. And so Chapter 7 would not have been an option, at least not at this time. Down the road, yes, maybe. But there is definitely something we can do for him right now. We can start representation. We can deal with his creditors, get that heat off of him, and basically lead him down the path to where in 2 or 3 years, either he doesn't need our services and file bankruptcy, or he's ready to file, ready to go, and there's virtually no risk. He'll start fresh. But
if he wouldn't have come to you and he went to one of these mills, they might have filed. He'd have spent the money,
all his money up front.
All the money up front.
2 or 3 weeks later, said, "Hey, guess what? You're going to lose this. You can't file."
Yeah.
Okay, let me have my. Well, our work's been done. We can't.
Yeah, we already spent the money.
Yeah.
And that's just you probably will find that with 9/10 of the bankruptcy law. And they're right. You got to do the work. There's a lot of due diligence you got to do. And you won't know until you get all those documents in exactly what they're looking at. And it's going to take time. So there is this, on one hand, you're performing the work, you feel like you should be paid. But, if you clearly know up front, there's the big questions that you can hit up front that don't take much time. And if the guy's got a business, it leads to another question. What is the business? What are the assets? You can make a determination right there and then and save both of you a lot of headache.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing with your firm, though, is what questions to ask. They actually, when they call in, they speak to an attorney They meet with an attorney, not a paralegal who's trained to get them to retain to give them money.
Exactly.
And that's the difference with your guys' firm, that you're actually meeting. They meet with an attorney. They find out their options. How many people do you guys help in any given month with your firm, across California, or maybe just your office?
Well, we file probably close to 300 to 400 cases a month. Okay. I would say we retain maybe 500 cases a month to file. And, the attrition rate, the actual number of cases people come in, retain, that actual file, I'd say it's somewhere about 70 to 80%, because things change. People can't file, or, we figure out a better program for them once we get a little bit more information. But we're helping a lot of people. And
that is
huge.
a lot.
Yeah.
I have access to Pacer, and Pacer is basically the MLS for lawsuits.
The multiple listing service.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And
speak realtor or
I get
lawyer.
attorneys that call me and say, Rondi, I want to get on your show. I know that you're helping people. We want to receive your referral business. And then I go into Pacer.
I know you do your homework on that. That's funny.
And my bill last month was $98 for the research that I was doing.
that's nothing.
Well, I know it's
Yeah.
not, but I'm not downloading.
It's about $500 a month.
And we're not a law firm.
I can imagine what it was before they started charging us. Attorneys used to have it for free. They didn't charge
wow.
us.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I'm just in there looking for names. And so I had an attorney that I spoke to about 6 weeks ago, wanted to come on the show. He's never going to come on the show. He filed one case last year. And he's now doing bankruptcies. And here's what I'm finding. It's really scary. What I'm finding is they're starving. And so what are they doing? They're getting into bankruptcy.
It's a money generator for them.
it's a hot market right now. Everybody wants one. So,
and that's what they're doing. That was my phone ringing, and that's another attorney right there calling, that real estate attorney, friends of the show, and he probably has someone that's going through short sale right now that wants to get the short sale removed from their credit report. When we come back, Sean, I want to talk about Bank of America seeking immunity, what your opinion of that immunity is, and what you guys have done in your firm for people that have loans with Bank of America, and how you guys are so much different than the average bankruptcy firm, and how they come in and then you help them after their bankruptcy's filed.
love to do it.
If you got any questions about what we're talking about credit, real estate, or finances, or how you can be out of debt in as little as 100 days, call the offline number. We don't want to ask you these questions in front of 500,000 people. We want to do it in the privacy of your own home, and the privacy of your car. So call the offline number. It's 619-333-0111. Again, it's 619-333-0111. When you call in, if you want to talk to Sean directly, you can just ask for Sean, and they'll send you over to Sean. You can also talk to Michelle or I. Again, the number is 619-333-0111.
This is Your Credit Matters with Rondi Lambeth on K-Praise 1210 AM KPRZ. Did you know that according to the FTC that nearly 50% of all identity theft complaints are direct results of the credit bureaus making mistakes? The credit bureaus make billions of dollars each and every year by making mistakes on credit reports. They're rewarded by the big banks to keep your credit score down. The lower they keep your score, the more money they make and the more you pay. If you want to learn how to put a stop to this theft and increase your credit score, visit AskRondi.com. Again, that's AskRondi.com, AskRondi.com. Or simply call and speak to a credit expert at 888-900-3678. That's 888-900-3678. Tell a friend to listen to Your Credit Matters with Rondi Lambeth. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on K-Praise 1210 a.m. KPRZ. To reach Rondi, call 888-900-3678 or online at AskRondi.com.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Your Credit Matters, heard Monday through Friday at 6:30 to 7 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on K-Praise 1210 a.m. I'm your host, Rondi Lambeth, best-selling author and your local credit expert, and I expose every day what the big banks, the collection companies, and the credit bureaus don't want you to know, and how, in my opinion, they purposely drive down your credit score so they can charge you higher interest rates, more fees, and keep you in chains and make sure that you are their slave your entire life. Michelle, my partner, is also here today, and Michelle is a certified FICO credit professional and a licensed paralegal. We are here every day to help you and your family escape the bondage of debt and bad credit. If you have any questions regarding credit, real estate, or finances, or how to get out of debt in as little as 100 days, simply call our offline number. That number is 619-333-0111. Again, it's 619-333-0111. Or simply go to the website, askrondi.com. Again, it's askrondi.com, ASKRONDI.com. When we talk on our offline number, not only are we going to be able to help you and your family escape the chains of bad credit, but we're going to give you a free financial roadmap to a debt-free life. In studio today, we have Sean Doan with Doan Law Firm. Thanks again, Sean, for coming in.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, Michelle and I are so thankful to have you with us because you really are an expert in this field. You're the best, one of the best attorneys in San Diego County as far as bankruptcy and helping people. I mean, it shows in your numbers. You know, you have 500 people coming into your office every month that you're helping, around 300 or so that actually you help them get out of debt. The way I look at it is you're actually saving lives. You're saving lives because, you know, people kill themselves over debt. People kill themselves over credit problems. You know, at my seminar that Michelle and I do a seminar, we're now doing them twice a month. And we talk about that. We talk about Kenneth Baker. And I don't know if I've ever told you about Kenneth Baker. Have you ever told you about the Kenneth Baker story? Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so. Tell me about the Kenneth Baker story.
Kenneth Baker had a dream. He wanted to buy a home, and he wanted to buy a home. He had a great job, great credit, never paid his bills late, always paid on time, had an awesome credit score, went down to buy a house. He got married. The wife he married had a couple little girls, and so they were living in the little condo in Kentucky. They found the perfect house, swimming pool in the backyard, and they wanted to grow their family in this brand new home.
You're going to start everybody crying in their car. You know this, right?
So after 18 months, he went in to get a loan. The mortgage broker said, "I'm sorry, Kenneth, but you can't get a loan. We see that you're not paying your child support. You're a deadbeat dad. You got judgments. You filed bankruptcy. You have all these collection people coming after you." And Kenneth said, "I've never paid a bill late ever in my life.
I don't have kids. How can I have child support?"
Yeah. And so what they found out, there was another Kenneth Baker in a different county. Oh. But the bureaus merged it together. So he hired an attorney, hired a family law attorney to help him with his credit issues. So you know where that went. Right. Spent thousands of dollars, spent almost 18 months trying to get it fixed. The last 6 months or so, he started writing letters to Experian saying, you know, you are destroying my life. Absolutely destroying it. I can't get into a home. If you don't fix this, the only way I'm going to be able to provide a home for my family is if I kill myself and give them the life insurance. Wow. And Experian just sent out letters saying, we think this is frivolous. We're going to turn you over to the authorities if you don't leave us alone. This went on. And finally, on March 24th, 2006, he killed himself.
Really?
And he wrote in his suicide note, Experian destroyed my life. The only way I can provide a home for my family is the life insurance policy. And it destroyed him with having to go in front of all these mortgage people and explain that he's not the deadbeat. He's paying his bills. And so in 2007, they actually sued Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If you want to read the details, you can Google Kenneth Baker, Baker v. Experian, and read the details. They never disclose how much money Experian paid.
Was it settled? Or
it did. They settled out of court.
I would imagine they probably settled something like that.
Multi-billion-dollar company. They're not.
Keep it on the down low.
Yeah, but here's the sad part. We did some research and we found that 13,000 people last year filed lawsuits against the credit bureaus for FCRA violations, which is a Fair Credit Report violations. And that's something I know your guys' firm that's different than the other bankruptcy attorneys out there. You guys actually get involved with that after you help your clients get out of debt. And you put a stop to all those harassing phone calls. And not only the harassing phone calls, but the credit problems.
Right, we do. We actually have a whole process after you get your discharge on how to deal with that exact situation. And that goes out to every client after they get their discharge. It's a letter they get from our office with generated letters to both or all three credit bureaus. They mail it out, and that kind of just starts the process. They get put on notice that they have to update the credit report to show that the account's been included in bankruptcy. They have to report accurate information. That's the key. And if they're reporting money still owed and they filed and discharged a debt in bankruptcy, that is not accurate.
You know, and that's what we found out with White versus Experian, which I know you're aware of White versus Experian. Maybe someday that we'll get some money out of that. But it was a $42 million lawsuit. And was that here in San Diego that was filed?
I believe it was in federal court.
I think, yeah. So White versus Experian. And what that established was the credit bureaus have to update the credit reports. And what happens is the banks, the actual creditors, don't have to update the credit reports, but the credit bureaus do. And we see every day they're not updating them. And they leave it, and they're waiting for the consumer to do something about it, and they don't. You know, and it goes back to this Bank of America. Bank of America is seeking immunity. They just paid out $8.5 billion to their investors. They ripped off hundreds of millions of dollars, and we think it's in the billions. Otherwise, they wouldn't have paid out 8.5. But now they're seeking immunity from the U.S. government that they can't be sued from their investors. They're also trying to work something out that if you have a mortgage with Countrywide, that they will modify the loan, cram down the interest, do an interest reduction, a principal reduction. But I think here's what's going to happen. They're going to get immunity, and then they're going to play along that they're going to do loan mods, and then they're going to deny it for one reason or another. Now, I know you have an experience with Bank of America. What have you done for people in the past that are getting abused by Bank of America?
Well, first, regarding that immunity, I think that's going to open the door to just a whole mess of litigation down the road. If you give Bank of America immunity, JP Morgan and Chase is going to want immunity.
Oh, that's what that article said.
That's what the article said was Wells Fargo wants it too.
And
they're next in line.
Yeah,
Wells Fargo,
absolutely.
Wachovia. Who was the big one that kind of started everything 2 years ago?
Well, Bank of America is blaming all of their problems on Countrywide.
On taking over all the bad debt from...
We know that is not the case because we see what Bank of America is doing before they bought Countrywide.
Right.
So I think that this is going to open up. Hopefully they don't get immunity, but we'll see what happens with it.
The good news is even if they get immunity, it's going to be from their shareholders.
And that's where it's going to be from.
Yep. We'll still go after Bank of America. Matter of fact, I got a case right now where they refuse to stop billing my client. And I've sent them probably 6 notices in the last 6 months. Still getting a statement every single month. So we're preparing the lawsuit now, and we're going to file it.
You know, we have one right now that we're going to send over to one of our clients, Brad. We have sent Bank of America now 5 letters, certified mail. And their response is they just respond with another statement with extra interest and past due notices.
They don't care.
And they just keep re-aging every month on his credit report. They show it as a foreclosure every single month.
Wow.
And so that's a case we'll send over to you, and maybe we can get them to finally stop, because here's what's happening with him. His wife actually left him because they went through the bankruptcy. They lost their home through the bankruptcy, or they short sold it or foreclosed. So they're living in an apartment. And she left because his credit's so bad over this Bank of America debacle that he can't rent a home to provide for his family. And so he's got all this emotional baggage going on, plus a financial hardship. And the state of California is talking about not renewing his license because his credit score's so bad.
That's a case with real concrete damages. I mean, we're going to be able to go to Bank of America and go, hey, look, because of your blatant violation, our client can't even get on with his life, can't work, can't make money, and everything that spirals down from that, those are all real damages. So that's going to be a great case. And
that's why we have you and your firm. You're going to be on the show a lot. And we want to really help people. And that's why Michelle and I are here every day. We want to help people get out of debt, stop the collection calls, get rid of the tax liens, get rid of the IRS bills, get rid of the old medical bills, get rid of the ex-husband and ex-wife bills. And that's what people don't realize is they say to us every day, Rondi, we got divorced. This is my ex-husband's problem. Well, you got divorced from the wife or the husband, not from the debt. And I think if you're going through a divorce, the first thing you need to do after your divorce is final is file bankruptcy to get rid of that debt, because just because the judge says your partner, ex-partner has to pay that mortgage doesn't mean they're going to. And now you're down 5 years down the road, you've rebuilt your life, and now you're getting papers because your ex is just decided they're going to go through a short sale, and now your life file bankruptcy, and now you're stuck with the debt 5 years later.
Right.
So if you're listening to the show today, we want you to reach out to us. We want to help you. If you got credit issues, if you got debt collectors calling you, maybe you got a short sale or a foreclosure that's on your credit, and you want to get that stuff removed. Or maybe you already went through bankruptcy and you want to get the bankruptcy removed from your credit report. Call in. If you have a lot of debt and you want to find out how you can get rid of that debt, simply call us. The offline number, it's 619-333-0111. It's 619-333-0111. Or you can go to the website, askrondi.com. Again, it's askrondi.com. ASKRONDI.com. On the website, you're going to find out how you can be debt-free. You can find out how you can get rid of that house that's upside down, avoid the foreclosure, get your credit fixed, get your life back on track, and give you the second chance. Because that's what we're giving you here. We're giving you a second chance. You know, we help people every day eliminate their credit problems, eliminate the debt problems, and start over. And most of our clients that hire us with a low 400 credit score, most of them within 90 days are back up in the high sixes, the low sevens. They can move on. They can purchase a new home. They can get the car that they need to get back and forth from work. So if you want help, you got to call us, 619-333-0111. Again, it's 619-333-0111. Sean, thanks so much for coming in today.
It was a pleasure, Ronnie. Thank you for having me. I look forward to talking to you again.
You know, this is Rondi Lambeth, Michelle Olson signing off. We're giving you the truth every day. And as we always say, that it's the truth that's going to set you free.